Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Today we're having collaboration conversations. And today's going to be a little bit different because I actually have two of the members of a collaboration that have joined us today to tell us a little bit about how they ended up getting into their collaboration and how it went, and to just give us a little bit of feedback about how collaborations are working for them to help them to grow their businesses. So, welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. And I want to start with you, Lynn. Why don't you tell our audience who you are and what it is that you do? And then, Robin, I'll ask you the exact same question.
Sure. Lynn Gallant. I am a health and lifestyle educator, what I call myself, but basically just educating people on making better choices to feel better day to day, whether it be for sleep, energy, nutrition, and just getting through their days a little bit more healthily. So I have chosen a couple of different platforms, but my primary platform right now is Scout and Cellar Clean Crafted Wines. The wine industry has skyrocketed over the past 8-9 months, especially when it comes to direct to consumer. And I educate people on how to make better choices when it comes to those wines by selecting clean crafted wines.
Awesome. Very nice. And Robin, please tell us about what it is that you do.
Yes, I'm Robin Finney, and I'm also known as Wandering Ant. I'm an oracle, an intuitive, and an authenticity guide, and I lead oracle card readings, oracle parties, Girls Night Inward, and deep clarity sessions to allow people to find the answers to their deep questions, make better decisions, and really learn to tune in to their intuition.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it seems as though both of you have had a collaboration together and you guys are well on your way to using collaboration to grow your businesses. So let's talk a little bit about collaboration. And, the questions I'm going to be throwing out, I'd love to get feedback from both of you about how you feel about this. So when you guys think about collaboration, Lynn, what comes to mind for you if you had to stick a Wikipedia definition on it, what would that be?
I would I would call it more of an enriching experience when you put two people together, bringing two separate ideas. I think both of those ideas tend to enrich one another and create, I always say that 1 + 1 = 3, but 1 + 1 = an elevated number. So you're bringing two ideas together or two businesses together that create a very enriching experience for people. It elevates it. It creates depth. It creates a thought process that goes above and beyond what it could, but with just one person.
I love that. And what about you, Robin? When you think of collaboration, what's hopping into mind for you?
Yeah, I think that was a beautiful way to put it, the way Lynn said. And to add to that, I also think like I'm a big connector, like I call myself an authentic connector. And when I connect people, I say that's one of my superpowers because I feel like I'm changing the world when I can connect people who are like up to creating transformation in life. And I feel the same as with collaboration. It's like combining people's superpowers to bring magic out to the world.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, there are lots of people out there who might be thinking about collaboration, and it's great that you both hopped on today because you both have had an opportunity to collaborate with each other and have tremendous success with that. So it's going to be interesting to hear your stories. But before we dive into that, how about you guys share with us what you think are some of the pros of getting into a collaboration? Why should people be thinking about using this vehicle of collaboration, getting two businesses or more together so that everybody's businesses can grow? So, Lynn, you want to take that one?
Sure. I mean, you really are tapping into two separate entities when you're talking about resources. So each person has their own networks. So when you bring those two networks together, you're kind of cross cultivating them. And I think that makes a lot of sense because, you know, they may not have heard, one network may not have heard of what the other one has to offer. So you're bringing them in and offering that as well. So, you know, that cross cultivation could really bring new business and new ideas to those people that they really didn't know existed. And that is definitely a positive. And that's just one basic thing that you think of.
What comes to mind for you, Robin?
Yeah, I think of support and empowering and helping one another, because especially those of us who run our own businesses and who are like solopreneurs, we sometimes think that we have to do everything on our own. And what I love about collaboration is it reminds us that no, we're not meant to do everything on our own. We're meant to take our ideas and our creative inspiration and combine it with somebody else's, because like Lynn said, it's like you tap into both networks and it just expands, so your reach is greater. And that's really what it's all about, I feel, is we're meant to share our gifts with as many people as we can.
So you guys have had a really great collaboration, and I have interviewed you both separately, and you both have that really positive collaboration energy going. But a lot of people have either tried collaborations and found that they've been failures, or they're hesitant to jump into a collaboration. So Lynn, what would you say to somebody who's thinking about it, or somebody who, you know, hasn't had great success in the past? What advice would you have for them?
Well, I think communication and creativity need to be there with both people. I mean, you need to have a connection at first and be open to an idea first off. There has to be an idea up front and then that communication along the way, so that you're both understanding that you're both going to be what you're both going to be offering, what you're both going to be doing when it comes to the event, what you're both putting out there, what you're charging, you know, all of the little details need to be put out there and not, you know, left, you know, for later, because you want to know what's going to happen along the way. And but I think there's the fear maybe lies in the not knowing. So putting it out on the table and outlining the details of it is definitely critical, because if you don't do that, those not knowings are probably what's the fear, where the fear is coming from.
I absolutely agree with that. I'll give you an example. So I have a collaboration with a dear friend, and it is ongoing. And yesterday we had a conversation because there was something that I said that may have been misinterpreted. And it was great that we had this conversation, because it would have been unfortunate for one party to walk away feeling like, you know, the terms and agreements that we had come to had not been agreed upon. And so it was really great that it seems as though at every step of the way, there is an opportunity to really solidify that conversation piece, and to kind of continue to affirm and confirm that we are on the same path, we are on the same track, things are continuing in this way. And if things change, because they do, also continuing to communicate that. What do you think, Robin?
Yeah, I think especially for those who have been burned in the past, a lot of times you can carry that fear with you into new relationships, new collaboration. I mean, it's a collaboration is a relationship, so it's like
Sure.
any relationship in your life, whether it's like a romantic or a friendship or business relationship. And so in any sort of relationship, anytime if you've had discord or it just wasn't a great experience, then some people like will just like make a decision after that and say like, this is not for me, I'm never going to do it again. And they kind of like shut that door, and it closes off any sort of possibility. And I think that it's like learning to take each experience, like, yes, it may not have worked out in the past, but what did you learn from it? And so it's taking that and using that to propel you forward and be open. And I really feel like since it is a relationship, you have to ensure that you align with the other person or the other people that you're collaborating with. I mean, you may not always agree on certain things, but you need to be able to communicate in a way that both parties are heard and feeling like their gifts are shining forward. And so I think it's really important to have that alignment and to also trust yourself and know that, okay, that maybe it didn't happen well the way you wanted it to in the past, but that doesn't mean that that it will be that way in the future.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. So tell us a little bit about the collaboration that you guys had, because it seems maybe not the most intuitive, but you guys made it work. You guys had a absolutely great collaboration. Share with our audience a bit about what you guys did, how you guys came up with the idea, how you made it work, all the things.
Well, it was kind of it was kind of, I think, during my wine tasting or wine event,
Yeah.
and we just got to thinking about the whole word clarity and clean, and it's just started getting our minds going. And I think, Davia, you may have come up with some sort of thought on, like, we should do a ladies' night inward with the wine. And then I kind of looked at Robin, and I think, was like, ooh, we could do that with the cards too, because clarity and the whole in vito veritas saying is like, in wine there is truth, and gaining your truth through the cards. We just kept circling around with that, saying, that could really be fun. And anything that revolves around fun, around, women coming together, really, you can do anything.
Yeah.
You really can. You don't have to overthink it. But then I added some extra, fun personality things with the wine that are obviously not necessarily fruits, but they're fun, because people need a little fun now, especially being that we are all virtual now, and we would much rather be in person clinking our glasses together. But, I think we created an event that everyone was able to enjoy the wine and sit back and listen to their reading and, get the gist of what we were trying to bring to them.
How about you, Robin? How did you approach this whole collaboration with Lynn?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer, because when I first launched Girls Night Inward, it's an evening where you come together with your girlfriends, your coworkers, your inner circle, and I pull cards for every person, and it draws connection and deeper bonds with one another, and allows others to be seen and heard and valued and validated as well. And when I first came up with this concept, when COVID first hit, I initially was calling it Wine and Oracle, and then Girls Night Inward, it kind of evolved into that. And so when I saw Lynn I think it was on one of the Friday calls, and she was doing the wine tasting, or maybe it was an evening, I don't remember. I was like, oh, this would be so great. But what I wasn't clear about were the logistics. So I was like, okay, how do we make this work so that we're both gaining something from it? And that's where Lynn's beautiful expertise came in. And I don't know if you were a project manager ever, but Lynn was very good about keeping me on track and allowing me to see things from a different angle. And so it was really cool, because we were able rather to collaborate in a way that was a win-win for both of us, and also meet the connection of the wine and clarity, which I think was really cool, and it ended up being like super fun with everybody.
I think the important thing when Robin said that was that we both came to an agreement ourselves, like, okay, what do we each need to get out of it? Brought that to the table, and I actually had some back and forth in my head, and I said, you know what, I'm accepting of this, and this is what I need. And Robin's like, okay, as long as you're clear on that, She was clear on hers. And we made sure that that happened. And as we saw it through, you know, we both had our strengths in that. She had the technical strength, and, you know, certain things I kept track of along the way while she was out of town. It really just flowed. So, you know, just having those intentions set in advance and knowing needed to happen really made it work out well.
Yeah, and that's where it's important to communicate, because it's like, because I think that's the other part of collaboration sometimes that can be a negative for people, is people can get burned because one person's taking on the load and it may not align that well. And so it really is looking at like, okay, what are your key strengths and what are mine, and how can we work together, and then just keeping each other in line with communicating.
Yes, I think if it is that the two people who are coming together for a collaboration, they're both coming together, you know, they're coming with an attitude of being all in, and they both have that same idea of I want to support you, and the other one also feels like I want to support you, and everybody's coming into it thinking that they're going to do the very best that they can for the other one, then it's going to be a successful collaboration. Because for example, I was talking to our dear friend Darla yesterday on collaboration conversations, and it was the best conversation because we were talking about collaborations that failed and just trying to pick out the reasons why they failed, because I really am a strong believer that the things that don't go as well as we might like, they're actually learning opportunities, and if we miss the lesson, we've missed a lot. And it was really interesting. She talked a little bit about collaboration where the other person didn't do what they were supposed to do to help to fill the room. And I was at your event, and your room was full. As a matter of fact, you had more people who wanted to be there than you had spots. So that's an indication that you were both, you know, doing what needed to be done to fill the room. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about the energy that goes into doing the work. Even though you know there are two of you, you're still doing as much as you would if you were by yourself. Talk a little bit about that. Lynn, any thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think when you make the commitment to do an event with somebody, you really, it's got your brand on it. So you do, you know, it's, you know, you own it. So it was something that my friends were like, you know, they know me, but they're like, ooh, Oracle cards? Who's this person? We got to meet her. I want to hear that, because they see me and they say, well, if you've partnered with her and we love you, we want to be part of this to fill in the circle, because we need to know this. So it you know, sharing it with your group, their buy-in is immediate because it's your buy-in.
Yes,
like
yes.
like I was saying before about sharing your network, they want to know who this other person is because you are partnering with them.
It's sort of like you put your stamp of approval on that other person. Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
So all you need to do is share and say,
Mhm.
you need to be here because not only am I sharing what you love, but I'm sharing somebody else who I admire, who brings so much value and fun to the evening. And it was fairly simple for people to go, oh yeah, I want to be there.
So, Robin, I understand that it was so successful that you guys are going to do it again. Tell me a little bit more about the planning that's going into this new collaboration.
Yeah, we were thinking about, because we had so much fun with this one. And so we thought, okay, let's do another one. And 2020, even though we don't know like what's going to happen, but I think in many of our minds, we think that 2021 is like a clean slate, and we're like, oh, we can start over. But even if you're not in that space, it's still a new year and a great time to set intentions for that new time. And so we thought it would be a great way to kick off 2021 and celebrate, like really celebrate this year, and not like, because sometimes we can focus on like what wasn't working, but really like celebrate, like, yeah, we all made it through this year, and now it's like we can get through anything now. We survived a pandemic together, and we can get through anything. So what do we want to create going forward? And so I'm excited to kick this off again, and also see what new wines Lynn has to bring to the table and have everyone try.
Well, we just today we're releasing the new holiday set, so that'll probably be the sampler set that we'll promote. But the fun thing about that is that we can also bring to the table the things that people were able to accomplish in 2020 that they want to carry through into 2021, leaving the negative behind.
Yeah, so it's like raise a glass to 2021.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Exactly.
Celebration of us moving forward. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. I love that. That's wonderful. I am thinking that for those of us who might be considering a collaboration, probably on the fence, a good idea is to think of something that brings people together, something that is uplifting, something that might have a little bit of self care built into it. And if you can come up with an idea of something like that, and you can find somebody that you're very aligned with and work together with them, you could really do something that's magical. Because I was at your event and I felt like it was magical. We have friends who've joined us over on Facebook. Just want to say thank you to our Facebook friends who joined us. And Susan is watching with us. She says keeping abundance mindset. I think that's what she's saying, that that is really important for a collaboration. And she also thinks that your upcoming event sounds great and she wants to be included. So you guys can reach out to her when you're sending out invitations, because I know I would like to be there, and I'm thinking Susan might like to be there as well.
Awesome.
So before we go, guys, any parting words, any final thoughts on collaboration?
Well, I think you said it right there. Taking a look at what you have and someone who you admire, who you can see you align with, like putting some thoughts together around that and moving forward with something that is fun, inspired around whatever it could be. I mean, if it's finances and something else, almost anything really works when you put your mind to it.
Finances and wine, or finances and cards, because sometimes the finances seem very tricky.
I think finances, wine, and cards.
I think we need all of those together.
Yes, exactly. I mean, but don't stop and go, okay, it doesn't work because it doesn't make sense. It's like there is a way to make sense of things.
So I know Jackie Baldwin is a big collaborator. She has found a way to collaborate with just about anything with her talk about
I'm
finance.
doing a collaboration with her in January.
Oh, that's hilarious. I know this stuff. This is awesome. So you know what? I see this collaboration in the future where we're doing wine and cards and finances. I don't know how that's gonna work, but
I would be more apt to attend finances with wine.
Oh yeah, we need some wine before we start talking about the
still
money.
like reassure you that you're
actually painting wine glasses, but that's okay.
Oh, that sounds lovely. You guys just keep the ideas for the collaborations coming. I mean, some of them are going to be really off the wall and they're not going to be great, but some of them are going to be amazing.
You don't know until you try.
You really don't. And talking about them, spitballing them, just throwing ideas out there, something is going to come together and something is going to look. We're looking at an economy that's a little bit different from the economy that we're accustomed to. We've got to get creative. And I feel like the best way to get creative is for us to all get creative together. I want to say
Absolutely.
thank you guys for hopping onto this call. Believe me, it was my pleasure to have you here, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all very, very soon. Thanks to everybody who joined us over on Facebook as well. And guys, before we go, do you guys have any specials or anything that's going on for the holidays that you'd like for our audience to know about?
I definitely do. We are having a Black Friday sale starting at noon on Friday. So
Ooh.
just my link below, and there'll be a 30% off on some select items. And not bad to know. Then we have the 12 days of Christmas starting on Monday. One wine a day.
Ooh, lovely. And Robin,
And
how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, I just want to side note, it's dangerous for me because I just learned that the Scout and Cellar headquarters are right down the road from me. So I'm like, oh, don't tell me you're having sales.
Lovely.
So if you're interested in Oracle cards and you're curious about how you can use Oracle cards not only in your everyday life, but with your clients, I'm launching a course to take you through Oracle cards, through learning what they are, how to use them, and also learning, even if you have a knowledge of them, learning how you can use them with other people and use them in your business. So I'll drop the link in, and I'd love to have you join me for that.
Awesome. So, guys, thank you for joining us. Thanks for being our guest. Thanks to everybody over on Facebook. Everybody who likes watching our show and likes listening to our show, I invite you to connect with us over on Facebook. Our Facebook group is called Ladies Power Lunch, and it's free to join for women entrepreneurs. And of course, if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, like and subscribe. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you. Bye bye.